Society blinds all of us to fates we would rather ignore. Countless amounts of people every day are enslaved by the mindset of society, myself included. Oftentimes we think of ourselves as being successful by going to school, getting a degree, then continuing on into a mediocre 9-to-5 career. But this could not be any further from my outlook on life as a whole. I believe that we must stand strong against societal standards by following our own paths to happiness and through any means necessary. No work better represents this idea than Into the Wild. My beliefs directly line up with this book's and its main character, Chris McCandless. Like most of us, Chris has a standard, somewhat successful life with a loving family. Though all seems well, he is not satisfied with the confines he has placed upon him. This is the same for myself, as I thoroughly believe in doing anything to sustain inner peace and happiness. It would not matter if I would make $10 million in a year, if it was at the cost of my happiness. Similarly, this goes for Chris, as he abandoned all he had in the pursuit of happiness. In doing so, he went to Alaska to free his mind and body from the watchful eyes of our peers. His motivation was joy itself and nothing else. Nothing else mattered at all, and this is what I sincerely believe is the key to life. Moving on to other fantastic displays of my beliefs is Othello. Now this could sound like a stretch, but Othello is also a character who demonstrates what it means to go against the grain of the all-seeing society. As a minority managing to become a more powerful and respected leader amongst those in the military, this is exactly what it means to beat back standards set in place ages ago. This is what I believe people should strive to be, the absolute best versions of themselves without the constrictions of others. The entity of Big Brother in the novel 1984 clearly represents the plain ideals of our communities that must be broken out of. Winston Smith previously worked for the oppressive Oceania regime, but in order to find his own enjoyment, he broke out of the confines of the system. He pursues love and enlightenment in spite of what the government could do to him, as he well knows he could be killed for simply showing emotion or free will. And his approach to breaking that vicious cycle is what fully encapsulates my belief. Once he is caught, though many would give up and start breaking down, he continues on his pursuit of happiness at all costs. Continuing on, Their Eyes Were Watching God also brilliantly demonstrates my beliefs. As the main character, Janie constantly has to battle the people of her own town in order to be accepted. She eventually takes the high road and accepts who she is, and begins to cast away those members of her community who look down on her. Like Janie, I also believe in traveling and learning as you go instead of being stuck to an area that will drag you down. The basis of my belief itself is freedom against conformity, the willingness to put down your own peace of mind over money or people's opinions. This is how I believe anyone can achieve inner peace with themselves. Furthermore, I believe that to free the mind and chase happiness, you must let go of past ideals and teachings. Those very teachings that we all learned of in our childhood lives are the very things that bind us to a successful 9-to-5 mindset after all. Once a person breaks free from the cycle to do what they love, they will become a person without regret and sadness. This is, after all, represented best by Chris McCandless. He had it all on the outside, but on the inside, everything was dark and empty. I fear that most, as I intensely dislike those feelings of darkness and depression. This is why I would sacrifice things like money and a successful lifestyle for things like the simple enjoyment of relaxation and bliss. Overall, I believe that our society puts unfulfilling restrictions on our minds in order to keep employees stuck in the never-ending cycle of work to fuel the economy. This is why there are so few entrepreneurs compared to employees. And to conclude, I believe in the freedom of mind and freedom of happiness against the watchful eyes of society.